Alright, why don't we try this again? I'm in a completely different setting from yesterday. Welcome everybody to Attempt 2 at Producing with Hexagon Jack Live Edition. If you guys didn't see the stream yesterday, my internet went out mid-panel. TELUS, am I right? The best internet company ever. Alright, I'm not here to rant. I'm here to teach you guys about making music. Let me pull up events. Let me pull up this chat here so I can see what you guys are saying. Just so... where is it? There we go. Alright. Let me adjust this camera right here. I'm not going to play the intro because I really don't feel like it. I just want to get this over with. So let's go into the DAW. Yeah, my lovely OBS interface. Alright, so my general plan for this panel is to make a drop from scratch and then showcase two drops that I already have existing, some unreleased things I have, and then a Q&A at the end, and then if we have time, I'll showcase some, I can't think, I just woke up, and then I'll showcase some unreleased tunes if we have time. Pull up that, I forgot I had the DAW cam going. But, let's get into some bass design. I'm gonna use my favorite software synthesizer called Serum. This is like the holy grail of music production. This is what, like, pretty much most well-known producers, I almost said all well-known producers, pretty much most well-known producers use to this day. Like, I don't know what Excision uses. I bet he uses Serum because, you know. But, there's so much features in this synth that it's not even funny. Like, you can import your own samples into wavetables and stuff. Like, I even have my own little wavetable pack called Clock Wavetables, where I turn some of my clock gongs into wavetables. Like, this Sessions one, it adds some nice harmonics into it. Hang on, let me see my settings here. I hate using laptop touchpad. If you guys can hear me okay, please let me know. As you see, this adds all these harmonics, and you can see how nuts the wavetable is. Alright, let's get into making an actual drop. I'm going to start... Oh, wait, something else I forgot to cover, too. You can literally download your own presets, too. You get these Virtual Riot ones, and here's some custom ones that I have as well for my own enjoyment. Ooh, Bad Dragon Daddy. And I have this one here called Crazy German, which is basically a Virtual Riot bass I made. Let's see. Alright, let's use some of these Live 10 wavetables. I'm going to use Squash. I love Squash because it starts off as a sine wave, and it kind of goes into this wah, sort of. Let's add my fat bass rack. This might make it loud, so let me know if it's a little too loud. So I didn't go over this in my attempt 1, so I just kind of want to go over what's in this rack. I have OTT, which is basically a multi-band compressor. I have two OTTs. I have an equalizer. I kind of want to use the default Reaper one because the default Reaper one has better things than this one. And then a distortion, saturator distortion by kilohertz. Honestly, this is a great alternative to Ableton's stock saturator and overdrive. It even has a bunch of presets like overdrive, saturate, and stuff. And then there's this one, which is a compressor for sidechaining. But you guys are not here to see me talk about my custom racks. You guys are here to see me make bass, so let's get into that. So these are called LFOs. You could basically do like a bunch of weird, wacky things with them, like frequency modulation and stuff. And I usually like doing a shape like this, and then putting it onto level 1. Yeah, let me just quickly see how many of you guys are watching. Wow, 13 people. Jesus. So yeah, so this is what we got so far. Doesn't really sound like anything, it just sounds like sub. But just wait till we start like doing like other stuff to it. Like you can also add another oscillator. You have 2 oscillators in the synth. Vital has 3, but I like using Serum the most. I kind of want to use a virtual riot wavetable. You got like, stop that. Terror Triangle, Terror Squad, Dying Saw. Let's use Dying Saw. It literally is a dying saw. If you look at this, it's a dying saw. Nope, stop playing that. Also, you guys don't have to wait till the Q&A. You can guys shoot questions at me right now if you want to, and I'll try my best to answer them as quickly as I can, because this panel is only an hour. So we can FM from B. We'll get into all the other warp things later, but FM from B. Just listen to the sound. And wait till we start messing with the dying saw wavetable, but... Alright, so we're getting somewhere now. So with the LFO tool, I like doing this sort of shape with the LFO here. As you can tell, I'm obviously using a touchpad. I miss my mouse, man. But I like putting this on the wavetable position on LFO 2. I usually... LFO 2, oscillator 2. Sorry, I just woke up. Which basically... it shapes the entire sound. Pretty much. Alright, so I touched on these warp knobs. You got like sync. That kind of, I guess, puts octaves up. That's obnoxious. And then we have bend plus minus, which I'm actually thinking of using because that's excision if I've ever heard it. I also want to showcase remap as well because remap allows you to like make weird wacky shapes, and you can put in like your custom LFOs, and you can just do some weird wacky things with that. But bend plus minus today. Okay, so here you got a ton of these filters. You got like some lows, some I don't know what MG low is. You got some like highs and bands and stuff like that. I'm using band 12 today. Forget my buttons. Let's put that down. It makes it like what the this I like this filter because it gives it more of like a growl to it. You hear the growl? The fat knob is actually what makes it more fat. We can barely hear a difference. This is just on a sine wave. This squash, you can mess with it too. It is also important, too, to find sweet spots when you're messing with knobs. Once you find a sweet spot that you like, then that's your bass. And also a tip that I got from a lot of other producers, too, is set aside days for sound design. Like, just spend an entire day making basses, just so if you're working on a song, you're never stuck on, like, basses because you made your own preset pack. Or you can even make your own sample packs as well. I love messing around with the hyperdimension. Hyperdimension is basically like a stereo width thing. It kind of makes things go, like, widen out. Like, think of, like, one of those expanding fidget balls. That's basically what hyperdimension does. If you want a better explanation of what hyperdimension does, Google it. That's all I can say. But I like turning the rate and the size down, so it makes this, like, I guess in this case, some old school stuff. In some cases too, with some of the bass patches I've used, it makes it sound like Skrillexy, I guess. Dio 2 is also a really good. If you're making like basses like this, where you're using like bands and stuff like that, Dio 2 I guess like in the previous bass patch I was making in the original panel, it kind of added some growl to it. So let's see if it does the same thing here. It's also important too to find sweet spots with the distortion, because sometimes the distortion can be a little wild. You also got a multi-band compressor, which is basically just another OTT. It's a built-in Serum OTT. Sometimes you mess with the release. And then phaser, you can get some more growls in with the phaser by messing with frequency and feed. So just take a listen here. Here, let me modulate this with LFO tool. I almost did it again. Can we meme that? LFO tool. That is an actual plugin I have. There is a plugin called LFO tool, and that's what I keep confusing with 2. EQ, I sometimes use. I don't use it all the time, but you got a ton of these like peaks and low passes and high passes, and you can just F around with those. Pretty much. I kind of like putting the gain on this one all the way down and then just modulating it up. Also, I forgot to explain with the Diode 2 distortion. I said this in my Attempt 1 panel, but it basically sausages the sound, and then it just re-adds this dynamic to it. So, yeah, the fish effect is what I call it, the fish effect for the distortion. As you heard in my set, you might have heard a few songs that sounded like this. Actually, I want that gain down. We want that deep growly stuff here at the Hexagon Jack Studios. Although I'm not in my studio because I'm at my grandma's place. Usually with the secondary filter, I decide either do I want comb or do I want flange. The last time I tried comb, let's try flange this time. Flange has a cool effect, like when you really know how to use it. Like sometimes I like to like slowly mix it in rather than just have it like blast in your face sort of deal. Let's see, let me check how many people are watching. Oh my god, 17 of you. Ah! What the hell? I meant to click Reaper, not OBS. So yeah, that's pretty much the. I could go over like reverb, and you can even do some like tonal delay as well. This is a cool trick for some of you rhythm cats out there. If you're into like rhythm music, this is how you make it. I love that like at the end of that. Let's can you hear that little squawk at the end? Stixel, stop honking at my bass, man. Stixel bass, because you can hear the little honk at the end. Stixel, if you're watching, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's pretty much it for actually making the bass. You can mess with a bunch of different like wavetables too. Like I said, you could import your own wavetables too. So you can literally just grab any sample. You can grab a sample of you even saying like "Oh, daddy" or something, and just like putting that as a wavetable, and you could get some really good results out of it. Let's see, let's do bright white. I like using bright white because it's the best white noise. Even Virtual Riot said it's probably your best white noise to use. I think you can even import your own white noise samples as well. Oh, it's a little too crazy. Very subtle white noise, like very, like it's like you could just make it out. There is a sub oscillator too, but I'm not using it because I make my own subs. Let's actually draw this in. This might be a little hard with touchpad. Yeah, I knew you were going to do that, you SOB. Yeah, usually with these public panels, I don't curse, I just say the abbreviations, because when I'm producing just on my own, I curse like a sailor. I'm telling you right now, when like either Serum messes up, I go, "You little thing," or whatever. I would say way worse words than that. I mean, you guys are lucky my stream didn't come back online when I was raging about the internet going out, because I was really upset about that. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Alright, so let's see what this sounds like right now. It doesn't really sound good because we're missing a step, and that is to sidechain everything. So, Jack, how do you sidechain? There is multiple ways to sidechain. I saw a producer on Twitter complaining about people using compressors to sidechain, and I have to go on a little rant about this. Why do you care? Why do other producers care about how other people produce? Like, I understand constructive criticism is a thing, but like the fact that you have a problem with how people sidechain, it's ridiculous. Like, it makes me so mad that people say, "Hey, you're not sidechaining correctly. Hey, you're not using LFOs correctly. Hey, you're not compressing correctly. Hey, you're not mastering correctly." It's just like, grow up. Grow up. This is how we produce, and this is how I produce. I don't know if... Alright, so here's how you set up sidechain. I already have the compressor set up like I showed you. If you use Reaper, you do add a new send. Make sure you're clicking on the drum folder track. You click on Serum, and then you click on... you click on 3 and 4, and we should be sidechaining. See, it sounds way better. You'd even mess with the... But not too much, though. Not too much. I've learned that the hard way with harsh sidechaining. Alright, now let's add our own sub. We're 17 minutes in. Totally wubbing at Hexagon Jack's panel. I see you, Mythics. Where is it? I'm losing my sense of direction in this DAW already, and I've been using it for a while. I should get the hang of it by now. So just duplicate the sub, just so you don't have to write a new MIDI. Okay, so that sounds pretty good. But here's a trick that a friend of mine on the record label I'm signed to, which is Trash Beats, taught me. If you're making your own subs, it is highly encouraged that you EQ out the low end of the main bass. The same goes for if you're using samples too, because it could be a mess if you don't do this. So now that I've done that, oh, play, damn you. Very subtle difference, but trust me, it's there. Now, if you feel like your bass sounds very thin, this is where samples come in. You can add some like background samples as well. Let's use some Virtual Riot ones because I'm feeling like VR today. You could use some of these bass loops, like. Nice. There's one here called Do It Right. Yeah, okay. So it will take a while for me to scroll through all these and find, like, the perfect one. But you guys pretty much get the picture. I mean, if your bass sounds thin, like, try adding, like, different samples. Try adding, like, different background noise. And, doing all that. Alright, so we're done with the making a bass from scratch. If there's anything I missed, I'll make sure to cover it somewhere else, like maybe in like a YouTube version of this. But I think it's time we actually go over like an actual constructed drop. So I'm actually going to open up a project from a remix that I just released last Friday, the Friday of this weekend. This is my remix of Eliminate's song "Walk Away." I don't think this is the right one though. No, this isn't the right one. What am I doing? When you open the wrong project file. I know the right one's got to be here somewhere. I think I called it Walk Away Remix, if I'm not mistaken. Come on, where are you? I don't think I have it, but I'll find it eventually, but I'll showcase this one. This is one that I actually played out in my set last night. This one is called Revenge. It's going on Virtual Resistance. I'll probably play this track in full when we do the ID showcase. But this is it right here. I apologize for the sudden, like, there's nothing really I can do about that. But here's the first drop. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go over the first drop here. Let me just solo it. So here's the first drop here. Oop, crap! It sucks doing this without a mouse. So here's the first bass patch. Let me get it open here. It has my fat rack on it with all like the post-processing, but I pretty much used the same wavetables that I used for the previous one. So this one, Brutal Metal, Amber, I'm going to be courteous and show the LFO placements, because a lot of production tutorials don't do that. They just go, I put this LFO here, I put this LFO here, I put this LFO here, I put this LFO here. It's like, come on. And there's also these tutorials I hate too, where they just go, add drums, add bass, add sub bass, and I just go, that's not a tutorial. That's not teaching you anything. But I have very little effects on this. I have like chorus, EQ, distortion. It's the same. I had used the same Dio 2 trick with this. It's basically like re-adding, like doing the fish effect to the bass. Hyperdimension as well, except the detune is up higher than the original bass I made. I just messed with that, and I ended up getting this sound, which is oop, I don't have virtual MIDI keyboard on, so it's not going to play. And another thing I forgot to go over too, you can also half the time up the LFO to get sort of a different style of the bass. And these second basses right here are pretty much the same thing. They're like the same thing with effects, but with just minor tweaks. So pretty much if you're making like a call and response drop, which I'll go into with the second drop, pretty much just like make like different versions of the basses and then just include them. Here's the second drop. Everything look like gold. I need all my dough, not a dollar.
I swear to God, if anybody steals this sample and puts it in their tune.
That's Dolgen Foski. Can't do their accent. But yeah, this second drop, I love the call and response in this second drop. If you guys don't know what call and response is, it's basically when you make the first bass in a drop, and then in the second section of the drop, you make it like a slightly altered version of that drop that you made. So this is technically what's going on here, except this one's a little more wider because it's doing like a wow, 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 sort of like a... Oop, come on. Play the flippin' thing, please? Or am I on the wrong thing? Oh, there's so many different things playing. What the hell, man? Why aren't you... Sorry. Reaper's giving me a little bit of a hard time right now. It's like, nope, we're not going to make this panel go successfully because you're not. I soloed this track, so I don't know what's going on here. Okay, I'm just going to solo it and just play it. So this is something I made from the first bass, but just slightly altered the effects a little bit, I believe. I didn't even show the chorus and the EQ, my bad. But everything is slightly altered to make this sound. I think it might be just the LFO is a little wider than the other one, rather than it being... Next, we're going to do this sustain. Where is it? I think it's right there. There's a lot going on this track. I can't really go over all of it, because... Yeah, so this one is a sustain, I believe. Yeah. So that ending part, what it does there is completely on accident. But this second drop was actually inspired by Company's Breach, with the second drop where it goes like, bro, let me show you how I... It does like that wub and sustain combo. So it's basically the same bass patch, but it's basically a sustained version of it, and slightly altered with the knobs, except this time I added a reverb to make it sound a little more metallic-y and full. Alright, so that's Revenge. Expect to hear that March. I can't remember the date, but expect to hear that March. That's what the song is going to be released on. You don't abstain from substain. So basically what a substain is, for those of you guys who don't know, what a substain is, it's basically a bass that doesn't have, like, any sort of, like, wow, like, it doesn't have a rhythm. It doesn't have a rhythm to it. I almost said rhythm. It doesn't have a rhythm to it. It basically has, like, it's basically a continuation. You know, with fire alarms, I'm about to nerd out about fire alarms here. When you get fire alarms, you have different code options. You have code 3, which is like a bah, bah, but there's this mode called continuous, where it's basically the horn just blaring, like continuously. That's what a sustain is. Talking about this is making me go insane. I agree with you there, Mikal. A sustained sub. There are sustained subs. You can have subs that have rhythms to it too, but I mostly use sustained subs. But a sustain is basically the basses that you just heard going continuous instead of having a rhythm to it. Alright, so I'm going to showcase another track here that I made. I'm just going over singles. Let's go over a track that's actually close to being finished. Why don't we? Let's do Never Be Alone. Because this one, sometimes a raw sign or just boosting the other bass can be fun. Yeah, I have experimented with that before as well. So this track right here, if it loads up, hopefully Reaper doesn't crash. Please don't crash, please don't crash, please don't crash, please don't crash, please don't crash. Reaper might have crashed. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, we're good. Thank God. So this is Never Be Alone. This track actually has vocals on it, so let's take a listen to that first. And then we'll go to the drop. So the vocals go like... So this song I wrote when I was actually in an extremely depressive state, which is why the song is called Never Be Alone, because, like, in certain situations, like, when I, like, mess up on something, I always tell myself, like, shit, I'm alone now, and then there's this voice in my head that says, no, you'll never be alone, and, that's why I wrote this song. I originally wanted Cassidy to sing on this song, but it was at a point where I was too scared to ask her if she wanted to work on a tune. So I just found some vocals off of Splice. So let's go with the drop. This drop has an amazing concept that Ray Volpe actually introduced me to, which I'm actually seeing him in November. But just listen to this drop.
I can't stay.
So that is actually inspired by Ray Volpe's song Growing Wild. I just love the concept of like doing like a nice chill melodic drop and then midway through you just go sort of deal. You just go nuts with it. So I kind of love this concept. Just like people are like vibing to a melodic dubstep track and all of a sudden they go, wait, what the hell is this? So let me show you how I made the synths. Now there's a lot in here. So this first synth right here, I think was made from a preset, because we're all preset junkies. Yeah, this was made from a preset. My legs are already starting to hurt. So this was made from a preset. And I don't think there's really any effects on it. I think I just put it as is. There's not even really any LFOs on it, too. I also made another version. My CPU's starting to die. This is with the unison turned up a little bit. The unison kind of adds more versions of what you're playing, too. Just to get that nice phasey stuff. Also, when you're making melodic-y dubstep, it's always important to make different versions of that bass, just so it sounds more full, just so it's not just like one chord just slapped on it and then just calling it a day. And I think we have the ARP. So there we go. This one is also a preset too by Schematics that I just slapped on there. It just sounded really cool, so I just put it on there. And as for the switch up drop, the switch up bass, this one right here. Let's go over the first one here. I believe this is a preset that I made myself, actually. Yeah, I just called it VR. I make a lot of virtual ride style basses. So this one is called VR. I used one of his wavetables. It's a pretty simple bass. Like, I almost used all the effects as well. Like tonal delay and stuff like that, hyperdimension. Yeah, and then we got the sustain bass. This one right here. This is also a preset that I made too that I didn't save. This is one I made on the spot. Let's see if you guys are saying anything in main events. No, it looks like you guys are just saying stuff in general lobby. But this is the sustain. Now, I didn't expect FM to work with this because the other wavetable I picked was not like signy enough for it. So there's barely any effects on this. Like this is pretty much what it sounds as is. So what time are we at? We're at 3:34. I think we have time that I can show you one more bass design from a track. And then we'll go into the Q&A section, and then I'll show you some of the we'll showcase some of the special tracks. You can kind of see them here a little bit. Ooh, Robo Deer. I hope this is the one that I'm thinking of. I hope this is the one. This one has some freaking cool bass design, by the way. I hope this is it. Please be it. I'm getting hot. Also, I made a comment saying my voice might sound deep and sexy right now because, yeah. I hope this is it. Yes! Also, listen to this pre-drop vocal, by the way.
It's time for some beep boop.
So this is, I believe, just a wavetable scrolling style bass. Yeah, Laser Bass 3 Revolution. This is a wavetable saved from one of Company's presets that I just started messing up the sound. You kind of see here. Yeah, you can see there. This is actually inspired by. This was actually made from a preset, I think. This was actually inspired by Ray Volpe's Malfunction, with the sort of like robot bass. The sustain. There's many different basses going on here too. The sustain. Oh, why is that sound odd? Oh, it was made from the same wavetable. Okay. That's interesting. There's also my own Vital sub on it too. I use like a bunch of like trap snares and stuff like that too. Yeah, pretty much the build up and stuff like that. I use some samples as well. I think we can show one more. Just one more, and then we'll get into Q&A. Let's see. Do I have one I can show? There's one here just called Trap. What is this one? I'm afraid to look at it because it might not be one that I remember making. It might not even be a thing. It might be just like... Oh, there's some stuff on this. What is this? Oh! CPU failure. Let's see. Oh, this one's a good one. So the yoi at the beginning, I believe, was a preset. I use a lot of presets. This one was a company one. They can't copyright yois. You cannot copyright yois, so I can just slap that preset on there and do an evil laugh in the corner. But this sustain here, don't think was a preset. No, it was a NASCO preset. Yeah, it was a NASCO preset. It's insane too because the way it works out. Okay, I think it's time for Q&A. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. If you guys, I just want to say, you guys might have questions that I don't know the answer to, so I apologize if I can't answer them. But any all in the Twitch chat have any questions, or just ask in public lobby as well, because that's where I see most of you typing. Feel free to ask any questions. I'll try my best to answer them as best I can. I'm just gonna wait because some people out there are slow typers. Should I make Goose Space for Sixel? For Sixel, should I make Goose Space and send it to Sixel? I should do that. That's a question for you guys. Should I make Goose Space for Sixel? If Sixel is watching. I have to do the frickin' Steve from Blue's Clues pose now because I lost all feeling in my legs. If you guys are typing in general events or main events. Goose Space. Affirmative. Again, if you guys have any questions, now's your time to ask them. I know you guys are probably shouting in the VR chat world, like, what got you into producing? Oh yeah, Sixel is promoting her panel. I found out Sixel is local, which is pretty cool. Just a personal question. Have you used other music softwares or attempted? I started off using a mobile DAW called FL Studio Mobile, and I try to forget those days because those were all just sample-based songs I made on there. And then I started using SoundBridge, which is a free DAW. But then I stopped using it because Serum kept messing up in SoundBridge, and I was like, "What? Why? Why are you doing this?" And then I looked at Reaper, and I've heard good things about it, so I was like, "I'll give it a try." So I tried the free trial, and I was like, "Okay, you know what? I'm gonna buy this." So I did. New album coming out. Give us the deets. I can't reveal a track list yet, but I do know I have contacted my record label manager, and the first teaser for the album is in the works. So you guys are going to get that in November. I promise you, in November, you guys are going to get the first teaser for Virtual Resistance. You guys, 4 songs off the album are going to be teased to you in November for Virtual Resistance. I'm super excited for how that project is going to turn out. I mean, so many amazing VR artists I'm collabing with as well. I might show you some tunes off of that if we have time at the end. But I can't really give much out yet because I kind of want the tunes to be a surprise, but I mean, it's not really going to work because, well, it kind of still is a surprise because you're going to hear the final result in the teaser, but what you're about to hear is still a work in progress state, I guess. I know there are 2 chats I have to check now, which is great. New album on vinyl. I don't have the skills to do that. If you guys have any more questions, I have is the bot down or something? Because for some reason the main events panel is not working. The main events bot is not working. You mentioned yesterday you had an album coming out. Yes, I'm opening many things. I do have an album coming out. It's coming out March. I forget the dates. Hang on, let me just check real quick. I believe I said it was the Friday of Vancouver that it was coming out. I think I have it marked on my calendar. Let me go all the way to March. The 3rd of March, that's when Virtual Resistance is coming out. Yeah, it was down. It's back up now. Yeah, please repeat anything people are asking because I don't want to open up tabs here and stuff. Mary Lee said, what strategy, if any, did you use when building your library of samples? What strategy did I use? Pretty much, I just got into Serum and started messing around with the wavetables that I had, and I ended up getting some cool sounds and samples and stuff like that. I ended up making a vacuum-style bass for a remix I did for Emiot's theme. It's basically a bass that sounds like a vacuum. It sounds like I sampled a vacuum, but it's not a vacuum. Would you want some toast? Actually, after this panel, I'm going out to eat with my grandma, so, because I'm hungry. How long does in general take to produce a tune? It depends. It depends on your workflow, pretty much. For me, I can put together a tune in maybe an hour, like just like a concept of a tune in an hour, and then I just tweak all the things later and turn it into an actual like full like tune that I could actually play out. What I like to do too is I like to make a build up to a drop just so I can have it playable, and then I just kind of build around that. My workflow pretty much I set for myself is pretty much just let's make the drop first and then make the intro and bass afterwards. Okay, bot is back, so I can now see your questions on Twitch. So if you guys have any more questions, probably around 11:50 I'll start previewing tracks. If you guys have no more questions, then I'll do it early. This panel went successfully. I'm very glad. Bot passes. Someone also did ask me too yesterday, is the Schlick collab started? No, we have not started something yet. If you guys know Schlick, he's an amazing techno producer. We have not started our tune yet, but I will start it. What was the first song off of the album? The first song that I made and I finished Never Be Alone. Never Be Alone was a tune that I actually finished off of the album. A bunch of more songs are in their finishing stage, which means they are requiring like a little more tweaks and stuff like that. Before I fully decide to go, okay, send this out. But pretty much Never Be Alone was the first tune I made. I made it like way before I even thought of Virtual Resistance. The album was originally going to be called Rise of Fermageddon, you know, VFC, but I was like, no, Virtual Resistance kind of sounds a little more cool, because I called it Virtual Resistance on purpose, because there's a little Easter egg in the abbreviations VR. The Virtual Resistance album is inspired by Virtual Riot's album Simulation, so hence the abbreviations VR. Yeah, it's a little nice Easter egg I put into the album too, where the abbreviations is VR, and there are some mentions of simulation in some of the songs too. So, like one of the like I said, one of the Foxhole Rhythm is a song I'm doing with T. Presley J, which is inspired by Toho Rhythm by Virtual Riot. Because that's basically what a collab between us would sound like. If you guys have any more questions, just spam me with questions. I will also be answering questions after the stream too. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to shoot me a message. My PMs are open. I'm not gonna yell at you for messaging me. You guys can shoot me a message as well. Yeah, I know, I saw it. I already answered that one. That's the one I was talking about, where I was like, Never Be Alone was like the first tune I made. Seems like we got no more questions. If you guys have more questions, I'll do it as I showcase IDs, but let's get into the part of the panel that I'm really excited for. We're going to showcase some IDs, man. We're going to showcase full IDs. So, why don't we showcase the jackknife one? Oh man, this one packs some serious heat. Yes, of course I want to save this, because there might have been something I changed. This ID packs some serious heat. If you guys ever want to hear Jack do a hardstyle track, this is pretty much... I played this last night. I only played the third drop. You guys didn't hear the second drop. This track, I believe, lasts 2 minutes, so... sit back, relax, get your hardstyle fist pumping. This is Hexagon Jack and Jackknife. I am calling it Fading. I'll probably come up with a better name for it, but for now it's called Fading. But here's Hexagon Jack and Jackknife, ID. Here we go.
If you with it.
I can't wait to release that one. That one's gonna be a big one. That one's really. I feel that most of these collabs on this album is really gonna like put me more out there in the music production scene. But that's Hexagon Jack and Jackknife. Really a talented producer. I was so glad she told me she was down to work on something, because I told her I started mashing up like hardstyle and dubstep sort of thing. And yeah, speaking of well-known collaborations, why don't I showcase the one with the amazingly talented Loprov? I'm expecting lyrics for this soon, vocals for this by somebody. By two people, Flicks and Twisted, are supposed to be doing vocals on it, so there will be occasional like pauses where vocals are supposed to go. But, so if you guys do not know who Loprov is, he's this insanely talented DJ and producer. I mean, you guys probably heard a few of his sets if you guys attended Ferality Legends, Ferality Luma, Ferality Aqua. Wait, he didn't play Luma. My brain's farting. But he played Legends, he played Aqua, he's really talented. I actually have a tune with him, so this is a metal-based track, so get those mosh pits ready, VF. So here we go. Here comes the first drop. This is where vocals are supposed to be. Here comes my drop.
Put that shit on everything.
No, that's all I'm gonna show because the last half is pretty much just placeholder right now until I can get a third drop from Loprov. But yeah, that's an amazing track that we're working on. That second drop is inspired by Excision and Slander Your Fault. A lot of these tracks that I've made are actually inspired by existing tracks. So that's kind of how I get my IDs down. Let's reveal this one called NWO. I wanted this track to have many meanings. The original two meanings that came up for this track was New World Order and New World Order. I couldn't decide which one, so I just called it NWO. Oh, hiccuping. NWO. So yeah, this one doesn't have a build-up or anything yet. It's pretty much just a drop. Doesn't even have any mastering on it, so here we go.
What you know about?
And that's it. That's pretty much it. I made that out of boredom. That is going on the album as well. Let's see what other one can I show. Ooh, I got one. Let's see. Let's see if my history will add up. I kind of named my stuff weird. I'm sorry. Do I still have it? Please tell me I still have it. This might be the old one though, so I'm not gonna click that. This is it. You know what? Until I can find it, this isn't going on the album. This is a separate project I'm working on. I'm collaborating with this snep named IOZ, amazing rhythm producer. So yeah, there's no subs on the main synth yet because I told him that I was gonna have him do that because I don't know what key the synths are in. So that's also a problem with producing. If somebody's sending you a synth or something, ask for the key. Ask what key is in, just so you can add your own stuff to it. But here's my collaboration with IOZ going on a different project.
All about the attitude.
Now here comes my drop.
It's all about the attitude.
Yo.
Alright, so I'm not really going to talk much about that one because it's for a separate project, but that's my collaboration with IOZ. We have time to showcase one more, because we're running pretty short on time here. I'm going to showcase my upcoming collaboration on the album with my somebody that I know named Whispers. If you guys do not know who Whispers is, he's a VR artist. He does a lot of concerts in VR and stuff like that. And I asked him if he wanted to do a collaboration because I heard his Luma concert, and I was like, "Yo, can we work on a song?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'm down." And I'm like, "Oh my god, no way!" So there's no vocals on it, so there was the same deal with the low prof collab. So there will be some points where this sounds like something's missing, but I'm just waiting on him to finish the vocals for it. Also, I just want to say, I'm pushing to get that Cassidy collab going. I'm pushing to get it going. I asked her, she said she was down. I'm making a demo for it. I hope we can get something put together. And so I'm excited how that comes out. But yeah, so this one, I'm just going to stop talking. Let's play it. I'm only going to showcase the first and second drop, and that's it, because we're running low on time. Here we go. I'm just like you. almost done. We're almost done. We're almost done. Last drop.
Get to the next level.
Yeah.
Lame, I know. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really had fun doing this panel. I'll definitely be back for the next CozyCon, and by the time the next CozyCon has happened, Virtual Resistance will be out there, so I might be able to break down a bunch of tunes off of Virtual Resistance, but we're going to go to the next panel. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure someone can correct me. But thank you guys so much for watching, even though we had a bumpy start yesterday with my internet going out. Screw Tellus. I'm sorry for my language, but seriously. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later. I'm gonna go have some lunch because I'm hungry. So yeah, see you guys later.